All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Oof the Premium. I'm your host and uncle, Darren Walters, and it's great to have you on the show today. In this particular session of OOFDA, we're going to talk about an expansion pack, right? So this has kind of been in the works for a little while. Uh, After working on OOFDA for so long, I started to realize that when you introduce this game to new beginners, uh, what inevitably happens is they get a little overwhelmed because it may be crammed full of too many ideas, too many possibilities, too many concepts to think about at once. And so it's like cramming an entire college semester into one game or something. And so instead, we want to roll out things slowly, and one way we can do that is, on the one hand, I have Oofda Light, which is a great introductory version of the game, and then, of course, we have the possibility of using an expansion pack. Okay, and so what's going to go in the expansion? Well, one possibility is the Master Negotiator tile, because those haven't been manufactured with the components that are already in place with the game. Okay, and so the the Master Negotiator tile, would be a welcome addition to the expansion pack. Uh, but there's also the possibility of the trade tokens. Right, the trade tokens could come on a separate in a separate game, and we could introduce that concept because it's fairly late. The Master Negotiator and the trade tokens are probably the latest additions to UFTA, besides maybe stacking and spider crops. Okay, and so that's another possibility as well. The spider crops and the stacking in the game aren't actually new components, but they are new features, new concepts, and so we can include that, of course, as an idea. But you can play that with the older game. That's kind of the beauty of that, right? Okay, and so the other aspect, or the other game component that we want to talk about, are expanding the adversity cards, okay, with maybe another 13 cards, as well as having another category, which are positive cards. And so the two categories of cards are going to be called obstacles and opportunities, okay? And so bearing all of that in mind, I'm just going to go over the cards here. So we'll start with the obstacle cards. The first one is Measles Outbreak hits family farm members. And the penalty is lose 2 consecutive turns. Okay. And the next card is Spider Mite Takeover. Spider mice, little bugs. We're going to return 2 crops to previous status. And you'll start to notice as we go over these obstacle cards that they in fact incur more wrath. There are more difficult penalties assessed from in relationship to the adversity cards. The adversity cards let you get off easy, in my opinion, anyway. And so we've got Spider Mites Takeover. The next card is Received Endowment. Okay, so that's another positive card mixed in with the nasty ones. And in that one, you can collect 20 tokens. The next card is Cabbage Worm's Feast. Discard all Wait Q trade crops and refill from the drawbag. Okay, so that's an unusual take on an unusual penalty. The next card is Weevil Infestation. Return all crops to previous status. So you notice you got to read those cards carefully, because if it says return, that's different from remove, right? And so we want to be clear about that. Okay, number 6 is Locust Swarm. Remove 3 crops and 1 adversity card. So now we're getting into the adversity cards being lost. That can have a pretty detrimental effect on your farm. But you can choose which adversity card to lose, of course. Okay, and the crops. Okay, and so the next one is number 8. We've got thrips. Thrips invade. So that's another creature that is a bane of organic farmers. Lose 3 crops. Okay, and so the next one is a labor strike. And so in that case, we don't lose actions or pay penalties, but what we do is we lose 2 consecutive turns, all right, until we get that straightened out between labor and management, right? Okay, so the next item up is white flies attack. Remove 3 crops. The next one is crew member forgets to wash hands. That can happen every once in a while. You know, it's not really that fatalistic, but it is, you know, it's just good practices, good idea. To prevent, you know, crop disease, other things taking over. Anyway, the idea is you remove 2 crops. Number 12 is manager forgets to wash harvest containers. And in that case, we'd have to remove 3 crops. And then finally, it's a twister. If you know your movies, that's a movie reference. I won't tell you which one, though. But you should get it. And the idea is we're returning 1 equipment tile to the shop, and we're also removing 2 crops. So the idea is even though the vital essential equipment can be damaged, it's also possible that you know the item can't be permanently removed from the game because it's just too crucial, too vital to everyone's success for earning the hunger tokens. And so the idea is simply that the affected equipment is just going to go back into the resource shop. Okay. All right. So that takes care of all the obstacle cards. What about the opportunity cards, right? All right, so let's take a look at these. The first one up to bat is a new high tunnel complete. And so we're going to plant 1 extra crop for free, okay? And notice that it doesn't cost an action. Now, that's kind of the big difference between owning the high tunnel and then collecting this opportunity card, okay? So, of course, you'll redeem these cards for a one-time use, and you'll just do what it says on the card. Okay, number 2 is equipment upgrade arrives. Redeem for 1 free farm action. Okay, so that's always good. Our next card is free advertising online. And you can earn 1 extra token per crop. Just quality word of mouth, right? The next card is Farm Crew purchases new gloves. Super handy to have, you know, if you're handling questionable stuff. Plant 2 extra crops for free. The next card is seed prices fall, and so that's a huge factor, right? Because who's paying for the seeds that feed you, me, and everyone around us, right? So it's very important that happen. In this case, you would grab a crop of your choice from the draw bag and add to the weight cue tray. Okay. So that's number 5. And finally, number 6, we've got a production upgrade. So you can displant, cultivate, and harvest multiple crops for 1 token per phase, right? And so normally, you know, when you're trying to be productive, and you want to rush things, and you want to plant multiple crops in fields and get them cultivated and harvested, instead of costing that elevated price of 2 tokens per crop, it's going to be instead 1. And so that card is a little different when you play it. It's good for the until you harvest. Okay, so it's active until harvest time comes around, and then you can collect. We'll probably need a special note on that one. Okay, so that's going to do it for the obstacle and opportunity cards. that might be included with the expansion. Of course, you can use the brand new cards, or you can mix and match the old adversity cards, and that would be good. And then, as well as mixing up the opportunity cards, everything all mashed together. Okay, because that just creates a wonderful symphony of flavors and possibilities. Okay, and so that expands our adversity cards. We're also, like I said, we're going to mention the possibility of the Master Negotiator card being included. In a future expansion pack, I might also include new beneficial equipment items, or maybe even essential ones, okay? There's a lot of room to expand here, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so I think that's going to do it for our purposes right now. I'll try to keep you updated on any changes, and don't forget to check out boardgamegeek.com for your favorite games, your latest information and news. And yeah, you just bear in mind you can purchase Oof Delight for, I believe it's $59. And then if you're interested in the big game, that's where the big bucks are spent. But you know what? I read a great thread today, and the idea is, your entertainment dollars are stretched to their maximum when you're playing a quality board game with your family and friends. Okay, because compared to some of the other activities and entertainment things you can do, it's really true that the board game industry, the board games, give you the most bang for your buck. But there's a huge catch. And that catch is, it's got to be a quality board game. It's got to be something you can enjoy for years on end, it seems like. Or at least get somewhere between 30 and 40 sessions in, right? And so that's why UFTA is meant to be a sort of a growing up or coming of age game. You can introduce it to children as young as 12, or maybe younger if they're prodigies. But it's also a great experience for all the adults in your life, because there's a lot of life lessons to be learned here, a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge. Okay. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for me. Until next time, everybody, keep on playing UFTA with your family and friends, and I'll see you then. Adios.